If you stutter, you're certainly not alone. Your attitude about your stuttering and yourself have a significant influence on how you respond to therapy. Because this is true, a lot of time is spent focusing on attitudes throughout the therapy process.
In my job, I am in a position where I have to talk a lot, as you said, and I have all my life been determined not to let stuttering get the best of me. So I'm in confrontational situations a lot. I mean, confronting my stuttering, and sometimes confronting other people. I sometimes find that my stuttering gets in the way, but I would feel a lot worse if I shrank from the confrontations because of my speech. I think it's important, certainly for me, to not let stuttering rule my life. There are a lot more important things in my life than my stuttering. And even as embarrassing as it might be sometimes, it's important for me to really take charge of my life and not let those things get in my way.
John talks to Miss Cully and Shelley about how he did not let his stuttering compromise his career goals. These positive attitudes have contributed to his success in improving his speech.
When I think back to when I was a college student, I struggled weeks and months on end about my career path, knowing that I was a stutterer, and trying to decide what doors that would close for me. But at some point I realized that stuttering was not who I was. It was merely something I did. And I wanted to show myself that I could do what I wanted to. And I wanted to become a physician. And so I tried not to let my stuttering interfere with that choice. Now, to say that that was easy would not be true. It was very hard at times with my stuttering to pursue that career path. But I think not letting the stuttering define who I was, but instead letting my true abilities define what I could become really made the difference.
Being open about your stuttering is also important. Let's listen.
We spent about a month just stuttering very openly and very obviously. And what I noticed is, and you encouraged this, was I was able to take that into my life and start talking more openly with everybody I knew. Well, not everybody, obviously, but with a number of key people about my stuttering treatment, and that I was wanting to work on my stuttering and talk about it, ask them about it, ask them their attitudes about it. I'd never really done that before.
Dennis confirms this.
I think anything you try to hide tends to eat at you. So if I try to hide my stuttering, there is no way that I am going to hide my stuttering. My stuttering is very obvious. I may be fairly fluent sitting here talking to you, but on a day-to-day basis, my stuttering is pretty obvious. So for me to try to hide it generally makes it worse.
Mary shares with us that she is more comfortable now that she isn't hiding her stuttering.
So now what I find that I do, and it helps a great deal, is I let go of that image as much as I can, or that fear of this perfect image that I have to give or something, and I just start talking with people right away in meetings and saying what I want to say and try not to hide myself anymore, whether I'm having a great day with my speech or a not so great day.
Some people use pseudo-stuttering or stuttering on purpose in a very direct way to reduce their fear. Dave uses this as a way to fight his tendency to hide his stuttering.
The most helpful, I think, is where you stutter on purpose. One of the things covered in the book I really use called Self-Therapy for Stutterers is where we may not have a choice whether we stutter. we have a choice on how we stutter. So I put the blah, blah bounces and the prolongations in on purpose. And that seems to help quite a bit.
Not everyone will use this strategy to the extent Dave does. Another way of being open is to let others know you stutter. Daryl discusses being open about stuttering during a job interview.
It just, I believe it puts the person you're speaking to at ease, a little more at ease, to have him realize that it's okay to talk about it, that it's okay from the standpoint of you're aware of it, and he's aware of it, and now we can go on with our business.
Desensitization, or becoming less sensitive about your stuttering, is an important part of attitude change. Dennis admits this is not an easy thing to do.
Desensitization is very important for me. I don't do it, again, as much as I should. I think it's difficult for a stutterer to be truly desensitized to it. Stuttering is a very hard and can be a very embarrassing thing. And as much as I try to desensitize myself, and I do, I throw myself into situations that I don't think any normal person would throw themselves into sometimes, because I'm not going to let stuttering get in my way.
Steve sums it all up.
I think the biggest part of it for me was the attitude aspect of it. Because I have gone through so many different types of therapies, and I've tried probably every type of therapy, from hypnotherapist to everything you could imagine. The big difference between, I think, my approach this time, as opposed to any of the other previous times, was just the attitude. The attitude of, okay, this is something that if I'm going to really take the time, I have to put it. It isn't really up to anyone else. There aren't any secret answers. I'm the one who has to go and make the conscious changes.
All of these people have shown us how important it is to be honest and open about stuttering. Changes in attitude prepare us to make changes in speech. Many therapists begin helping you change or modify your stuttering, whereas other therapists may begin working on your overall speech. First, we'll take a look at modifying stuttering. The goal of this is to stutter in an easier and different way by making moments of stuttering sound more like normal speech. Note that as you work on changing your stuttering, you will probably increase your overall fluency. One aspect of stuttering, using too much physical tension, is often dealt with in therapy. Let's watch as Peter, with the help of Dr. Ramig, discovers the pushing and tension associated with his stuttering.
Moving through the word, through opening your mouth just a little bit more, okay? Also, and this is a lot to do at one time, but also try to feel your tongue touch in various places. Feel your lips touch. When you get good at that, then you can sense right away when you're starting to push, much more than you can now. And that's a big part of therapy and an important part of therapy. So why don't you go ahead and try that as you're talking about school. And again, I'll continue to interrupt you and stop you to try to help you do some of this.
Obviously, because there's just too many kids. But
Okay, on that B now, what happened there?
I pressed a little too hard.
Yeah, you pushed pretty hard with your lips, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to happen, and that's okay, but why don't you show me what we'd rather have you do?
But.
Okay, or but.
But.
Okay, but.
But.
Okay, that's a hard one because I'm starting the voice first, and that's a little bit harder to do. Try it again, just don't bring your lips together as hard.
But.
Okay, all right.
But as far as the environment,
Okay, what did you do there?
and my tongue was sort of pressing up towards the back of my mouth.
Okay. Feel any tension down here?
Yeah.
Okay, see, that's where that vowel is made, is down here. Some of it's made up here too, but a lot of it's right here. Okay. Let's try it again the easy way. Stretch it out.
Environment.
There you go. Environment. Environment. Feel down here with your hand. Go.
Environment.
Feel the vibration?
Environment, yeah.
I need that vibration. Good.
internships.
Okay, try that one. It's okay that you did that, but I just want you to go back and try it my way. Try it the easy way.
Internships.
Perfect. Good, good. That's a way to do it. That's a good job. Remember to try to keep opening your mouth just a little bit more. It's hard to remember to do all these things, but try it, because I know this is new for you.
When I'm working on easy onsets, I'm very aware of tension in my articulators, and I try to not bring myself to a stuttering posture, but to ease into the stuttering, ease into the word, so that the tension that often builds up in my stuttering behavior does not occur, and I can get into a word without a block.
So what you're doing then is the opposite of what we many times do when we stutter, and that is pushing hard on it or getting into that stuttering posture or block. Instead, you're sliding into the real stuttering and sliding off of it by using less tension.
That's exactly right. It's such a natural tendency to push into a hard block situation, because I've done it all my life, that this requires some concentration to not do that.
Let's watch as Dave talks about another way to work on your stuttering.
Stuttering is what we do when we try not to stutter. And so in order to do that, the opposite of keeping it inside is bringing it out. Opposite of trying to keep it a secret is to not keep it a secret. So that's where the purposeful stuttering, the pseudo-stuttering, stuttering on purpose in a controlled way rather than the totally uncontrolled way comes into play.
For some, maintaining eye contact with the listener can be very positive. Let's hear what Jim says.
Eye contact is essential. Stuttering is about fear, and when I'm looking somebody straight on, I'm not avoiding, I'm not looking away, I'm confronting what I fear most. It's also a great way also to monitor my speech.
Eye contact is something you can work on without the help of others. The best way to begin is to maintain eye contact with yourself in front of a mirror while making phone calls. Good eye contact not only makes us more effective speakers, but also gives our listeners a better impression of us and how we feel about our stuttering. Another strategy we often use is to increase awareness of your lips, tongue, and jaw. We call this proprioception. Let's listen to Dennis describe how he finds this useful in modifying his stuttering.
The point of over-articulation, of proprioception, is to try to feel how your articulators are moving. The more awareness I can have of what my articulators are doing, the easier it is for me to make corrections when I'm speaking. I find that overemphasis on articulation is helpful, both because it makes me more aware of where my articulators are, and it's good speech practice. I mean, good public speaking practice. And it slows down my speech. So with proprioception, I can feel where the tensions are occurring if they come up, because I'm aware of what's happening in my lips, what's happening in my throat, what's happening in my chest. And it makes it easier for me then to do something about it.
As Dennis says, as you modify or change your stuttering, you are also doing some work on your overall speech. Then, after you learn to modify or change your stuttering successfully, you can go on to work on other ways of changing your speech.